Now, today we don't have a tip, but we have a serious talk. Because we talked about how women should accommodate the people in their husbands' lives. The mother, you know, the whole family, his friends, his colleagues. The least men can do is actually to listen and support the wife. And if she has a problem, please, you need to sit down and talk about these things. Now, today I want to talk about the exes. It's not just for the men, even for the women. Okay, some of us are still hang on, you know, we're still friends with our exes. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's okay, but you need to know your limits, because these are the same exes. You used to sleep with these guys. I mean, you used to go to Mombasa Raha with these exes. They know you. They know what turns you on. They know what makes you tick. They know what makes you upset. And if they want to have you back, they will try, and most of the time they do. Now, if your current partner has a problem with your ex, you need to listen. And if they're uncomfortable with the relationship you have with your ex, you really need to listen and hear them out. Okay, let them tell you your concern, and then you can weigh. Most of the time, they really have a genuine concern, and we don't want to let go of that relationship. It is stressing your current relationship, but you don't want to let it go. Why? I have no idea. It's okay, you can have that relationship, but it kind of sounds like it's a bit inappropriate. Now, you really need to cut it off if it's the cause of chaos, fights, you know, and constant disagreements between you and your current partner. It only gets complicated if there's a child involved. Now, there's a time I was doing a bridal shower, and this lady was very concerned because the husband-to-be has a child, you know, with another lady. They used to go out and they got a child. And that child, by that particular time, she was in standard 1. And she was very, very uncomfortable because she was telling me this child gets sick almost every Friday. When they've made plans to go somewhere, the baby's sick. And the ex has to spend a whole Friday night or evening with the ex, with the baby. She doesn't understand this child doesn't get sick on Monday or on Tuesday or on Wednesday. The baby gets sick only on Friday. And this guy will drop whatever it is to go in, and that's understandable, you know. I'm sure she tried to understand, but when it became like it's a routine, she noticed that, and every time she tried to bring it up, it became a problem. Now, my advice to her was, since she knows about the kid, and she knows the husband-to-be is supporting the child, which is a very noble thing for a guy to do, I ask her to include this baby into her life. And if this baby has a problem, instead of the husband going there by himself, why not go with him? And can she take responsibility? Because after all, this is going to be a kid who's going to be in her life for a very long time. She's not going to go anywhere. And they have already discussed this baby is going to continue staying with her mom, and they're going to be part of this child's life. Why not help? And I was telling her, take some responsibility. If the kid is sick, and sometimes the husband has to go home, pick the child, take to the hospital, why not her do that? Now, if the ex has any design on the husband, this will make her stop. You know, because they'll know these two are together now, and they even together, you know, they're supporting one another when it comes to bringing up this child and even paying the bills. So that was my advice. Now, if that made the ex uncomfortable, then there's something wrong with that particular lady. Now, we don't abandon our children, of course. It's human nature. We need to take care of these kids. But if it's causing a bit of a problem, you need to work together as a team, husband and wife, to support. Otherwise, exes, they don't add any value most of the time in our lives. They only cause havoc. Now, it's up to us to make sure we let go of that relationship and start afresh.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Connect, a show that is out to heal relationships here in Kenya, because there's so many negative perceptions that go around about marriage, about different relationships, and we're trying very hard to try and guide you into making your relationship or your marriage better. Now, we have been talking about the important people in his life, that is the husband's life, and how a woman can try and sort of accommodate these people or things that are important to her husband. But before we go any further, we asked Kenyan women once again if they understood the priorities that a man has, and if they're willing, especially this issue of mother-in-laws, to accommodate these people or things in their lives. Let's hear what they had to say.
Well, the relationship with the mother was good until when things started going bad. But when things were good and when things were flowing, we were in very good terms. We could relate well, we'd do things together, and the mood was very sober every other time. Until when it got a point that things were moving from positive to negative. Yeah.
He gives them so much attention than he gives me. That depends with what they are doing. If it's something so logic and like, I have to give them that time to speak to, so that he can speak to his brothers. But when it comes to me, he gives me all his time. He's the best, actually. Yeah.
So how does it?
Well, a relationship depends. If you are both busy people, it will not affect both of you, because at this time I should be here, at this time I should be there. So I guess understanding each other well is also the major factor in that. It contributes a lot on how you are going to handle each other. And also if you are mature enough, if you're mature enough to handle a relationship.
I don't know, you take each step at a time and you give everything the time it deserves. My grandmother tells me there's a time for everything. So, yeah.
So tunapanga venye tutamit hivyo, yeah, his time with family namwachia akuwe na familia yake, family they are important too. Yeah.
No, I try to treat both mothers equally, both fathers equally, and of course the first love goes to my child and the husband, yeah, all that. So I try to treat both parents equally so that they don't see like I'm favoring this side or the other side.
Nadhani hapo mtu anajipanga. Pengine upanga kwa hii masaa ndakuwa na hii masaa ndakuwa na hii.
Welcome back. Now, those are some of the views that Kenyan women had. Now, very interesting views. There are people who are saying they cannot really deal with the mother-in-law, but definitely we are out here to try and make sure that you're able to understand how to accommodate and respect his family, his friends, his colleagues, and his passions as well. So at least your marriage, you don't, you're always fighting over one thing or another. Now we get into question time. Now we've definitely had many questions. Now we'll answer last week's questions because we told you to send in some of those questions. We've had numerous response and comments and feedback on this show. We do really appreciate what you are complimenting us, or even perhaps your negative criticism, which we do appreciate as well, because what can we do in this world without haters as well. So, but before we go on, many of you asked about the lubricants and the products that Gertrude showed last week's episode during her love tip, and we got people really want to buy them. They want to spice up their Mombasa lives, clearly. So remember, just to make sure you get this clear, you can find these products at Tetezo shop. It is on 3rd floor of Gilfillian House. That is just next to the I&M building on Kenyatta Avenue, room 313. You can get all those products there. Be sure to rush there and get them before they go out of stock. But definitely, if you want more information, go to our Facebook page. That is Connect-on-K24. We will give you the full information there. But straight on to your questions. Now, someone asks, hi Gertrude, how do I make my Miss Victoria tight and warm? Please advise me, because my husband says that it is wet, but it is not tight and warm.
Ouch.
Yeah. So clearly, that's a woman in distress.
I hope he said it nicely. He didn't just say, oh,
you're not.
I know, damn. Anyway, now I always say the best Miss Victoria is a combination. You can't just have a tight Miss Victoria. If it's too tight, then all you get is bruises and abrasions. So the best Miss Victoria is a combination of tightness, warmth, and lubrication. If you're too tight and it's too dry, too tight and dry, it's a problem.
Yeah.
By morning, like I said, you'll be walking out, you'll be having a walking start, and we'll know what you've been up to. And if it's too wet, now Miss Victoria makes some sounds. I don't mean to scare anybody, but it's the truth. Miss Victoria makes some sounds, 2 types of sounds. So I don't know which one yours is. There's a Okay, neighbors can come running. What's up? And then there's another sound which goes like, yeah, you know, remember when you're growing up, our mothers used to tell us, don't do that, you're calling snakes.
Oh,
I told them, Mom, you used to lie to us. You knew exactly what that sounds.
Yeah, now I remember.
Exactly. So if it's the first one, there's a lot of air, you don't have a good grip over